and what are some important things to consider if their teacher says their terrorist did this, or just some guidelines for them to remember as young Muslim brothers and sisters that are in schools and they may feel that they are targeted directly or indirectly. Whether it's the teacher saying, doesn't Israel have a right to defend itself, and putting them in certain positions where they may not know the answers. And one of the main things that I tell them, and I've told this community in continuous, is it's important for us to have this revisionist history, to understand our history as Muslims in Palestine and the history of Palestine as the people of Palestine. And I want to, generically we know Umar ibn Khattab, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, but then we don't know, for instance, the Balfour Declaration and the Nakba. And these are two events that I advise, just generically speaking, if you want to start from these two particular incidents that took place. What I want to talk about is a statement that Umar ibn Khattab made. It's two statements, subhanAllah. One of them, as we know, before the time of Umar ibn Khattab, there was the Byzantines, or the Romans, that were ruling over Palestine. And they were very destructive, and they were very ill-treating to the Yahud at that time as well, the small percentage of them that were there. And Umar ibn Khattab, subhanAllah, he sent a letter to them in regards to the position of the Muslims when they were going to overtake them. And the area was called Ilya at that time, which was known around the area where the Christians were in modern-day Palestine. And he made a beautiful statement. He said to the people of Bayt al-Maqdis, he said, "Innakum aminuna ala dima'ikum wa amwalikum wa kana'isikum." It's a beautiful statement. He said that verily you all are safe, your blood is safe, and your money is safe, and your churches are safe. This is very important because the picture that they tried to paint as Muslims, that mashallah, Hussam Zamlat, he did very well when he was interviewed by Piers Morgan. And you'll hear me mention this name a lot, and I advise you to look his name up. When he defends Islam, he defends particularly Palestinians, but he does it with integrity, and he controls the narrative of the questioner. The common question is what? Do you condemn Hamas? He doesn't entertain that. And he finally mentions why he doesn't entertain that, because as soon as you ask me that question and I answer it, it puts me on the back foot. It makes it seem as though we are guilty till proven innocent. And it's important that the Muslims understand that we are innocent till proven guilty. We should not feel any type of way that we are guilty and we have to prove ourselves. This is not the case. We as Muslims, with our faith, we see that within the Sharia in and of itself, people that are a ruled people, if we were to overpower a country or a place, this statement of Umar ibn Khattab is paramount in understanding our aqidah, our belief, and how we deal with those that don't believe. When Umar ibn Khattab, before ruling them, he said that verily you are safe. Even your place of worship is safe. This is important for us to know. The second statement of Umar ibn Khattab, when he entered, subhanAllah, and if you see the way that Umar ibn Khattab entered, he entered into Quds, subhanAllah, they didn't even know who he was, because he was holding the mule, the riding animal, and his servant was on the riding animal, and he was walking in holding the ranks of the animal, to where they couldn't even distinguish, where's your Amir? And the humility of Umar ibn Khattab, he was wearing white clothes with patches on it, subhanAllah, humility. And this is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Amir al-Mu'mineen, the leader of the Khalifa at that time. Okay? He says to Abu Ubaidah, because Abu Ubaidah comes up to him, he says, the way that you're looking and the way that you're presenting yourself in front of the people. And then he said this two different occasions. He said, لو غيرك قال هذا يا أبا عبيدة. This is a statement that Umar Khattab said to Abu Ubaidah. He said, if other than you was to have said that, Abu Ubaidah, basically, other than you were to have said that, it would have gotten the business from me. It would have gotten, shown a little adab, right? So he said, لو غيرك قال هذا يا أبو عبيدة. يا أبو عبيدة أعزنا الله بالإسلام ولو ابتغينا غير ذلك أذلنا الله. He said, Abu Ubaidah, it is Islam that has given us izzah. And if we would have wanted other than that, we would have been debased. Allah would have debased us. Debased meaning put in a low position. And it's important for us as Muslims to know now, the statement of Umar, when he opened Bayt al-Maqdis, when he conquered it, Quds, it was a statement of humility, but a statement of honor. The fact that it is Islam that makes us mighty. It is Islam that gives us this integrity. It is only, and I want to say only Islam that will give us victory. This is very important for us to understand. And this is the main motivation behind our ghira, our jealousy and our love and our anger of what's going on now. This is very important. And that's the slight distinction, because what you have to understand is you will see that individuals such as Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Angela Davis. If we as Muslims don't know these names by now, this is a problem. This is why this is a problem. If we as Muslims don't know who Malcolm X is, Angela Davis, we don't know, subhanAllah, Nelson Mandela, right? They all spoke up for Palestine before I was even born. They all stood up for Palestine because it is a universal oppression. How can the occupier go towards someone, with someone? The Palestinians are occupied. Right? They were speaking up for the justice of Palestinians. And what's important for us as Muslims is that we have Islam on top of that. And that's the most important factor, the protection of Bayt al-Maqdis. And I want to end, subhanAllah, that we as Muslims should not have this defeatist mentality. That we are defeated, what is happening now, the Muslims are going to be eradicated, Islam is going to end. Abadan. Abadan. Don't ever associate what you see on television, what you see what's happening with the oppression and the genocide of our brothers and sisters, what's going on, that will end Islam. Wallahu mutimmu nurihi. Allah promises, An-Nasir, which is one of his names, promises that he will complete this light of Islam, the light of progression. Even if those that disbelieve hate it, it doesn't matter. We should know that this house is going to be protected. This house is going to be protected. And remember, these phases that take place, even though we see it, it's saddening, but sometimes we may think when we mention aspects about the qadr, it seems inconsiderate with the current situation. We mention this about the qadr, meaning that this is from the will of Allah to give us thabat. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. These are the days that we bring forth. It is in cycles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings us forth. And in the tafsir it mentions that some days basically you lose and some days you're victorious. And that is what's happened throughout history. And this is a part of history that we're living. But it's important that we as Muslims understand the beauty of the statement of Umar ibn al-Khattab, that he said it is Islam that gives us might and honor. And particularly for us as individuals, when we say Islam, it is that firm conviction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Hakim. He did this for a divine wisdom. I don't know why ultimately, but I trust in him that he will protect Islam and the Muslims in a way that he sees fit. And I'll end it. This is the third time I'm ending it. And this is the last time. Witr. I remember I was going in a dentist's office and subhanAllah, I saw a drill. A drill is being drilled and you hear the person screaming. You're thinking, oh man, what is going on? But then when you look at the climate, it's a dentist's office. He had to get his tooth taken out because there was pus coming out of it. And the pus, if you don't know, it could get to a degree to where it can cause brain damage because the bacteria from the pus can go to the bloodstream and the closest area of the bloodstream is the head. Taking that tooth out and him screaming was a rahmah. But if someone was to walk in and didn't know that this was a dentist and didn't know what was going on, like my 10-year-old son here, he wouldn't know that, Baba, ish hada yani? Ish hada adhab, ish yu'adhibu? He said, no, this is a rahmah. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. And Allah is a much greater example. What we may see as a turbulent now, we may see as something that one may ask, what is going on? Why would Allah do this? Why would Allah do this? Natural, normal. Mata nasrullah, as said in the Quran. What does Allah respond? Ala inna nasrullahi. The help of Allah is near. Know that this is an indirect mercy. Don't mean to sound inconsiderate. We make dua for our brothers and sisters. But subhanAllah, never forget that death is at another stage to go to another marhala. And we know that the ones that, if they pass away and the ones that have, we know they are shuhada, they are martyrs. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that are patient with His predestination and qadr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with the iman and the tawakkul, the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whatever He chooses and judges, we trust in that and we know that it is best. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow this conviction that we have in Him to make us stand up in the middle of the night to call on Him and to make dua, sincere dua for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.